It's 1 a.m. You are exhausted, the kind of exhaustion that sleep won't fix. Yet your brain refuses to stop asking, what if? You're replaying a conversation from hours ago, or worrying about an email you sent 3 hours earlier. Paradoxically, some of the most intelligent, emotionally aware people are the ones who feel the most drained by their own minds. If this is you, you aren't alone. Research shows that 73% of adults aged 25 to 35 experience overthinking daily, and it almost always hits hardest when we are lying in bed at night. Psychologists call this pattern maladaptive rumination. It isn't a sign of weakness. Often, it's a sign of a brain that is exceptionally good at pattern recognition. Neurologically, your prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for analysis and planning, stays highly active even during downtime. Meanwhile, your default mode network keeps generating an internal monologue, or chatter, that runs at roughly 4,000 words per minute. Your brain is essentially always online, auditing responses to conversations that haven't even happened yet. This habit often starts in childhood, as a survival strategy. If you grew up in an environment where moods shifted without warning or mistakes had big consequences, your brain learned to anticipate everything as a way to protect you. Thinking was the only shelter available. Overthinking isn't a flaw. It's a smart nervous system doing exactly what it was once trained to do to keep you safe. The problem is that your brain never got the memo that the storm is over. Why is it so hard to stop? Because of the illusion of mental progress. Your brain releases dopamine during problem solving, even when that problem solving is just an imagined scenario. This gives you a chemical incentive to keep looping. Furthermore, researchers call this cognitive avoidance. Your brain uses verbal analysis as a shield to keep you from sitting with raw, painful emotions. Thinking feels like progress, while feeling feels like falling. So your brain chooses the shield every time. It's important to distinguish between the two types of overthinking. Reflective rumination, turning inward to understand yourself, can be a strength linked to high emotional intelligence. However, brooding rumination is a passive pattern of dwelling on problems without moving toward a resolution. This is where overthinking costs you your sleep and leads to decision paralysis. Here is the truth. Your overactive mind is also the engine of your cognitive empathy. Overthinkers are often more sensitive to social nuances and more attuned to the emotional textures of a room. The goal isn't to silence your mind entirely, but to change your relationship with your thoughts. Instead of fusing with a thought like, "This situation is dangerous," try cognitive diffusion. Observe the thought and say, "My brain is generating a concern right now." Your inner chatter isn't your enemy. It's an old alarm system without an off switch. It's usually just trying to say, "I'm scared and I don't know how to sit with that yet." Be patient with your brain. It has been working very hard to protect you for a very long time. Maybe tonight you can finally tell it that it is safe enough to rest. Your mind has spent years building a shelter to protect you. Now, let's help it grow. Subscribe to join us for our next mind-changing story.